Hi guys, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel where I focus on early game and mid game stuff. Today's topic is going to be the fusion on the one hand and the fusion plan, not the fusion itself, but the fusion plan on the one hand, and also I just want to talk a bit more about the synergy between the turtles, because I feel like I haven't done that enough in my last video. Right, so especially Donatello and Michelangelo, because we get those two, well, one on a fusion and one for free. I think they are working very well together, and that's a great thing. I think Plarium has done a very great thing here. They have released champions which are very usable by themselves and are strong by themselves, especially Donatello, I think, with the cooldown of ally skills is pretty amazing, and he has a pretty strong kit overall. I think I've seen a video where he was kind of a bit compared to Freya, even though there is also quite a lot of stuff that's different, but I see where the comparison is coming from. Yeah, so I think Plarium has done a great thing here. Solo, strong champions, but in combination, they are absolutely amazing. So that's great for us, but it's also great for Plarium, because the incentive to get more turtles is extremely high, and you won't be able to get the turtles in the future, like pulling them from shards. So I feel like this is a very interesting event. I'm going to be very happy when I get Donatello and Michelangelo. I think they will unlock Clan Boss Ultra Nightmare for me, but obviously it would be great to get more turtles. There has been some information on where and how we are going to get the other turtles, the other two, Raphael and Leonardo. And it seems like it's all going to be guaranteed events of some sort, but it's not quite clear how reliable that information is. The information has been released by Plarium. It says one is from a path event, which is probably going to include shard pulls or something. That's Leonardo. The other one is supposed to be from a deck of fate event, and that is definitely going to include dungeon divers and something else probably, but we don't really know. And Plarium has already said that they are going to change some of the information that we got, and we can't rely 100% on this. So it's going to be very interesting where the other stuff is coming from. For me personally, I'm nowhere near the resources to get one of the other two champions. I'm going to focus on Donatello and Michelangelo, and I'm going to be very happy when I get them both. Like I said, I feel like they will probably, with their ally attack, be able to unlock Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss for me. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. It's interesting because they don't really... I thought they might have more synergy in their kits, like direct synergy, you know? Where it says in one skill, if you have Michelangelo on the team, Donatello is going to do this and that. But that's not really happening. The only one who does that is Leonardo, which is quite interesting, but it does make sense because he's the leader. Yeah, but they all have the ally attack in their kits, so they will all attack whenever one of the turtles attack, and that is crazy amazing in itself, and the incentive is going to be crazy high to get other turtles. So super interesting. I'm super intrigued by this event. I would love to get more turtles, but I think that's just not going to happen. No thank you. Alright, so let's get into the fusion plan. We are, I think 40 minutes away, 55 minutes away from Champion Chase. So let us look at this fusion plan. I have highlighted the worst parts of this fusion. I have red lines for the dungeon divers. We have to watch out for these, and then yellow for the summoning events. Also, there is 130 fragments, but 20 are from tournaments, so we can't really count these in. Like, one is from Champion Chase. There is some whale somewhere definitely going to have more shards than you, usually. And then there is one from Champion Training. Now, in the past, I've had the luck of a very weak bracket of rivals, basically, and I did get these fragments once in the past for a fusion, but me playing this game for 4 to 5 years and only getting that once, and I've played I've had periods where I've been pretty active. That should tell you how hard it is to get these extra fragments, so I wouldn't count on them. So count these out. We get 110 fragments, so we can skip 10. That means you can either look to miss a Dungeon Divers or a Champion Chase tournament or a Summon Rush. At least parts of it. You know, the Dungeon Divers only gives you 5 points, 5 fragments, but usually the Champion Chase, the 15 fragments you get from Champion Chase and Summon Rush, they are separated. You will get 5 fragments on a low threshold and then 10 on a high threshold. Like for Summon Rush, maybe 4,000 points and you'll get 10 fragments. So you can't skip a Dungeon Divers and 10 fragments from one of these events, you know? You can usually, well, you could also say I'm going to do both summon events and I'm going to skip 2 Dungeon Divers, up to you. I feel like it does probably make more sense, at least definitely to me, because I don't have the craziest shard count. It definitely makes sense for me to skip one of the 2 summoning events, at least the 10 fragments from one of these 2 summoning events. All right, so let's look into this in a bit more detail. I'm planning to do the Champion Chase tournament fully, just because I can on my account summon Gom, for example, as a fragment. Then I will be able to summon Broadmoor, which is going to give me, like the 2 together are going to give me around 900 points, I think, in total, which is pretty great. Then I'm probably going to save up my Sacred Shards for the Summon Rush, even though we have a 2x Sacred going on for this tournament. At least that is probably what's going to happen. So this is probably going to be Sacred, 2x Sacred Shards, but I'm still not going to pull my Sacred Shards here, because Sacred Shards are by far the best for Summon Rush, and I'm going to try to get a couple of points from Ancient Shards, maybe Voids, I'm not too sure. The problem is when you don't pull Epics from Ancient Shards, that's going to be really painful. But I'm going to talk about that a little more on a later video today, because I'm planning to pull shards and make a video about that. And I'm planning to talk about how to get the most points for Champion Chase tournaments at the same time. All right. So then we have the Dungeon Divers going on already. That is coinciding with an Ice Golem tournament. I've been doing that. It's super painful because my Ice Golem team takes like 14 minutes or something. So that's basically running on the side non-stop, which is pretty painful. Gear enhancement events are just a silver check. Then comes the champion training today. That is also coinciding with the Dungeon Divers. Here you do have to decide, are you going to finish the champion training event until Sunday if you want to double dip with the first Dungeon Divers, or are you going to just hold back a bit on champion training, see how far you get on the first Dungeon Divers, and then possibly do this second Dungeon Divers and this champion training from Monday to Tuesday. So that's something you have to decide for yourself. Me personally, I'm going to go pretty hard on Dragon because it's speed gear, and that's the only other event alongside the second Dungeon Divers, which is pretty rough. It's pretty rough, but it's at least it's Dragon. You know, if this was Fire Knight or Ice Golem, this would be even worse. But Dragon, I'm very much looking for speed gear, so I'm going to go pretty crazy on the Dragon tournament. Probably going to get far too many points for the Dragon tournament, but I'm hoping that that is going to give me what I need for the second Dungeon Divers. But this is certainly rough, especially looking at the champion training and where you might want to do most of the champion training, on the first Dungeon Divers or on the second, or yeah, that's quite hard. The third Dungeon Divers is not too bad then, because it coincides with the Fire Knight and the champion training again, so you can do quite a bit. And the Spider tournament is also coming in. Like, be careful and be mindful that you have to, or it is probably advised to do as much or the most of the Spider in the beginning to get most points double dipping for the Dungeon Divers as well. Yeah, so that's something to look out for. That means that you are probably going to have, by the way, too many points for the dungeon divers, but there is usually above the fragments, there is 2 more rewards that you can get on the dungeon divers. And so you might get these when you do Fire Knight Champion Training and Spider Tournament all during this dungeon divers. That's going to be pretty heavy, like intense on resources though. So you have to see that you save up enough energy and enough gems that you are still going to be able to complete this dungeon divers within 3 days. All right, guys, I think that's mostly it. That's mostly it. The summon rush is just going to be sacred shards probably, because they are the best value. Fill up if you don't have enough sacred shards with your other shards. And I'm probably going to pull quite a few mystery shards. I have around 1,000 mystery shards, and I will utilize these in order to save some resources if I can, depending on where the points are. Like, that's also going to be very interesting, because it's also always very interesting where are the points, the thresholds for the fragments going to be during the Champion Chase Tournament and the Summon Rush. We'll just have to see about that. I'll make a video about the Champion Chase Tournament and pull some shards. I'll probably make a video about the Summon Rush as well. Yeah, but that's going to be it, and that's going to be 2 weeks of pretty heavy grinding, unfortunately, but I'm looking forward to getting Donatello. I'm hoping I will be able to do it. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. Wish you all the best. Until then, bye.